It's the second week of January, the 8th of January, and it's Wednesday Ramblings. Hi, I'm Anna from Post Me a Book, and I'm doing a usual, would I call it a catch up this time? Because again, haven't got very far. I think I put out a post not so long ago. I was talking about some short books that I'm going to read, and I have actually read one of them. I've read a short story from the one that's called Mad Dogs and Other Stories. And I won't exactly say that it felt like a book that I feel I'm going to continue, but I am going to give it another try because it seems to have gotten such good reviews. Uh, Old as it is, well, one shouldn't quite say old as it is, but it did get good reviews at its time on the book itself. So I'm going to try at least another short story, and perhaps another, and then we'll see how it goes. The story that I read, or perhaps it's also the style in which he writes. He writes in a very easy style, and when I say easy, because I actually also say that there are a lot of books that I find easy to read. This one, I suppose, it comes across to me as easy in the sense of one of these stories that you take on holiday. People who, the beach stories, the books that that people say you could lie on a beach and read, that kind of short romance story, albeit this one's not a romance, but the language is not very, it doesn't really go very far. it's, it's quite plain. There's nothing really evocative by the language in this actual story that I read. It was very plain. It's hard to say what the book was about. So when I said, I know that my thumbnail actually said, the art of telling more by reading less, I think it was. This one, I'm not sure. I really am not, but we'll see. I'll give it another go. So instead, I actually thought, well, instead of just talking about this book or talk about the stories that I'm going to read, because I haven't actually read any more other than that one story, I saw that there was a a book tag is the word I'm looking for, or words I'm looking for, and I I listened to it from Hannah's books, and it was the New Year new book tag, and in her clip she actually says where it originates from. I haven't gone so far to check where it originated from, so you can absolutely watch Hannah's books and find out where it's originated from. And then I went on to listen to Jim's. He also made the book tag, New Year's book tag. Hey, what is it called? New Year, new book tag. And this is Jim from Great Books, Big Ideas. I probably always get that wrong. Could be Great Ideas, Big Books. No, it must be Great Books, Big Ideas. And I thought, why not? Mine is probably going to be kind of short because looking at the list, I, I can't feel that I've got a lot to actually impart. But let me get up the list and then I will go through the book tag. Now, this seems like a book tag that I could probably do a bit later on because I can see one can delve into it more than I'm going to today. I've got the questions on my laptop here, so apologies if I keep looking away. That's the reason for it. But let me go through it. And the list that I've got here, and it's probably the same list, is from Hannah's books. And the first one is tag questions number 1, fears. What is one book from your 2025 reading goals that scares you? That was a question. I think I haven't gone so far as to plan out what books I'm going to read apart from apart from the few that I'm reading now, which is the short stories. If it's not this mad books and other stories, that kind of scares me just because I'm thinking I might not get very far with it. But otherwise, no, I don't really think there's anything that scares me. I can think that perhaps um, the Ngugi wa Thiong book, The Wizard and the Crow. It's a long book, and long books sometimes take a long time. It doesn't quite scare me as such, but I don't want it to take such a long time because in the end, I do feel I want to move on because one doesn't have as much time as before to keep on reading a book. So you want to get onto something new in the end. I think I feel that, even if a book is good. But again, I found one way to get through that is just to put the book down and start something else and read something else for a while and then perhaps come back to it if it is a good book. So just at the moment, I think I can safely say there is actually nothing that scares me, just again because I haven't really planned so far. I've planned the ones that I'm reading now, the short stories, and the other books that I'm reading. And then I'll go forwards. So I don't have a structure for the year. This is the thing. I don't actually have a structure for the year. I just go by uh, uh, week by week, even. That's it. So that answers number one. Number two is about patience. And it says, what is one book on your 2025 reading goals you want to start immediately? That's why I said this could go, going through this book tag could go quite quickly for me. But as I said, it does seem like it's one that one can come back to. But let me stick to the questions. What is the one book on your 2025 reading goals you want to start immediately? I actually do want to start the Ngugi Thiong book immediately. Um, and this is because, let's see if I have it here. This book, and it is because it sounded like a good book, and I'm interested to know how his picture of African politics at the time he wrote this book, because as I said, he was a reveled author, African author, a Kenyan author, and he was in the political world. These great authors, or the authors that are classified as great authors, absolutely in Africa, often were connected to the politics because they had their ear to the ground, and often their stories were political. So this one is one that I'm actually looking forward to reading and getting on with. I'm not actually going to read it immediately, but it is on my list kind of immediately. So that's one that I want to read immediately. Another one, I want to get to The Goddess Crown because I bought the book last year and I thought I would read it. I thought I'd get time to read it in December, and I haven't yet done it. So I will hope I get to it in February. Really hope I get to it in February. Or perhaps I'll make it a must get to it in February. So that's one book. Let's see. So number three, growth. What book last year pushed you to reflect and grow as a reader? Reflect and grow as a reader. I think the books that have been about um, that have been related to Africa, for example, the Biafran War, that has helped me think a little bit about. It has helped me, in any case, get some history, African history, which I knew a little bit about. I still don't know that much about, but it's made me think that this is something I should actually absorb a little bit more and educate myself a bit more. So I am leaning towards that, and this is part of the reasons why I'm reading more African readers, because I haven't really done that before. So that one's one of them. The Steve Biko book, I Write What I Like, has also pushed me to growth. But I think with all these books, it also means that you need to create space in order to have time to sit and reflect. And sometimes I don't always do that. I do it at the time I'm reading the book. I have time to get angry. I have time to think about this, that, and this and that shouldn't happen. And then I fall back into my day to day life and day to day living and day to day things, and you forget about the things that you thought, this I must take with me. It must be a core part of me, and I must try and live what I thought was good in that book. And I think I must do more. I must be more active in the things that I think should be pushed forwards within these books, especially the Steve Biko book, which is helping people to hold their identity and not to fall, not to be, not fall prey to people who are trying to change their narrative. I think that is important for a lot of us, and I see sometimes what they say that people are losing this, whether it's because of TikTok or whatever it is, and people don't listen enough to history. I am one of these people. I certainly didn't pay that much time studying my history. I was not interested at all in when I was in school. I am more now. I mean, this is something that I want to improve on. So absolutely, and I do want to practice some of the stuff I read, absolutely. But I want it to be a core part of me. So it isn't always that you're thinking about it, it's just kind of automatic. So Steve Biko books, the Steve Biko book, absolutely. Um, I could connect it to the was it Michael Orange? I forget what the author was. I'd have to go back to that and think about it, but also that one because he was talking about how Native Americans also had issues with their identity and how their narrative was changed. So these books, the connection with these books also helped me grow and develop. You think about um, the world in a different way. So that was that one. And then I move on to New Path. What is one author you plan to try for the first time in 2025? Oh, I haven't got a clue. Not a clue. I'll probably just pick up a book from the house library and read that because again, so many authors in this house that I haven't read. Old books again, but so many. So I have not got a clue. Yes, I do. There is one actually that I thought I'd try. And this again is an old book, but it's here in the library. I haven't actually read Murakami 1Q. Is it called 1Q84? This I know is not a new book, but all three novels are here in the house library. And because all three novels are here in the house library, I figured I must actually try and get on with them. And oddly enough, in Hannah's book, she mentioned Proust. And that is his novels, I think I might actually try. Now they're in Swedish, but I shouldn't let that put me off, should I? I mean, there are only 7 novels in Swedish. But because my mother-in-law, she's had a book club. I think they've read them all, and they've read them all before. And she says they're good. Now, the ones that are in the house are my husband's. I don't know whether he's read them all before, but I'll give it a go. I can only get a bit better in my Swedish anyway, if it's not old Swedish. But we'll see. But first, perhaps Harakami was it? I forget what it was called again. Haruki Murakami. Perhaps that one first. I just must fix my laptop, which has decided to go into sleep mode. There. So I'll go on to. So what was that one? Which is one author you plan to try for the first time? Yeah, that one I think I'll try. And perhaps Browse. Perhaps. But he's long down on my list, really. But I might. Or I might just read the introduction to Proust in English. Perhaps that's enough. Okay, question number 5. Self-care. What is one book and or series you revisit for comfort? Just now, I actually don't have one. I know before I had Pauline Kirk's The Keepers, which I still hold dear, actually. I do hold dear in my heart. But I think I've moved away from it partly because, well, the characters remain the same age and I get older. So I don't identify with them as much, but I still think it was a good book. And I did read Border 7. No, I listened to Border 7, also by Pauline Kirk. And she read it very well. And I did enjoy it, actually, albeit I got really irritated by it, the protagonist, just because she was such a strong character in the beginning. And then she starts falling for such strange things. She's so what's the word? They lure her, and you think, for someone who was so careful in the beginning, how do you fall for this? But I guess that's just shows you it's a good book when you actually get annoyed with the character. It ended well. So having read these two books, oddly enough, I feel I would like to read another book by Pauline Kirk. She hasn't written a lot of books in the past, contemporary books, perhaps I should say. These The Keepers was sometime like 2008, something like that. But she seems to have gone into poetry, so I might try one of her poetry books. But otherwise, there's another book called The Waters of Time, which was written in the 1990s, late 1990s, I think. And I'm feeling I want to read that one. So that one is a definite on my list. Um, so yes, her books. And Ursula Gwynn, um, I feel her books are good. They do give me comfort. I haven't finished reading the last. I have about 3 books that are on my library, on my shelves, and those ones I want to read. So those are there. Um, and if I'm going to really say if they give me comfort, in the sense that I really enjoy her style of writing, and I enjoy the way she describes her description of landscapes and the area around it comes to life so well. And I like the way she describes her characters. There, I really feel that I'm really there. So yes, her books I think are good. Let's see, number 6, Forging Ahead. What is your favorite debut book or first book in a series you read last year? My first debut book. Not sure. Not sure I read. I'm sure I read the debut book. I just can't remember which one. Or first book in a series you read. I read The Empire Silence, if that works. I won't say now that it's a favorite. I enjoyed it, but I won't put it down as a favorite yet. So that one, the number 6 will just, I'll come back to it next time. Number 7, goals. Do you have a specific reading goal or challenge for the year ahead? A specific reading goal. My reading goal actually is just to stick to my structure. I think it's enough. When it comes to number of books, no, it doesn't work. I've tried it. It really does not work. I'll say I'll read a book and finish I can even say I'll finish a book in a month, and it doesn't work. So now I'll just read the books and read them to enjoy them rather than read them to count numbers, because that was really my reason for um, starting the book channel. It was for my pleasure and because I love doing this. Now I can come back to one actually, because I remember there was a debut book that I totally enjoyed, and that was actually this one. It's About Time by Arlen Hamilton. This one came out when did she write this? Came out in 2020. I enjoyed it, one, because her story is very interesting, and she seems to have done a lot of stuff in her life and brought herself from nowhere to somewhere to this point. And I'm thinking, where do people get all this energy? But anyway, it's not only that. It is an inspirational book. It is an easy book to read, and it didn't take very long. So that was a good debut book that I can remember just now. There could be others that I read during the year. So that was that question, which was number, let's see, Which debut book? Number 6. So let's see. So now, oh, nearly at the end. Number 9. Breaking Walls, the bonus. Do you have a non-book related goal for 2025 you wish to share? That was a tough one. Okay. Perhaps I'll have to think about that one. It's not quite coming to me at the moment. That's to say nothing that concrete that I want to share anyway. there's probably all these goals that I make over through the years, more exercise, more. No, I do actually want to be able to meditate. So that I'm going to try and actually work on in a better way. I want to have more time and space just to, as they say, to be in the now would be nice. I do also want to kind of get back into some karate. Not sure that's going to work. Time wise, little difficult, and also getting a bit stale. But that won't let me. That shouldn't stop me. Let's say it will probably be time, but I'll try and get that in. So meditation, karate, so many things, no time. So let's just say those two and hope that those two work. So that was that one. And tagging others. This was number 9. Well, I'll do as Jim says. Anyone who watches this, you're tagged. I thought that was very nice of him, by the way. So thank you, Jim, from Great Books, great ideas. Thank you for tagging me just because I watched your video. And so I send out the same message. But that was it. So thank you for watching Wednesday Ramblings, and like and subscribe. Until next time. Bye bye.